Hi everyone, my name's Mayanthi. I'm a qualified counsellor and I make videos on how I became a counsellor and what you might want to know if you're looking to become a counsellor as well. So before we get into it, make sure to hit the subscribe button if you're interested in becoming a counsellor, because I do share a lot of videos about the process. So in this video, I had a comment about becoming an EAP counsellor, and I'll explain what that is, but I thought it was a really good question because it's something that I thought about early in my career and I've actually thought about it since. So I thought some of you might be thinking about it, and I did have that question as well, I think on TikTok. But yeah, I hope you find this video helpful. So firstly, what does EAP stand for? It stands for Employment Assistance Program. So many organisations, companies, businesses in Australia have EAPs connected to them. So the Employee Assistance Program is a counselling program that's available to their employees for free. So they can take any issues, whether it's work or personal, and talk to a counsellor about them. EAPs are usually short-term programs, so it might allow maybe 6 to 8 sessions with a counsellor. So it's not really a long-term solution. And I don't think you'd be going into kind of psychotherapy and going into the past and all of that. It would mainly be around sort of current issues and learning strategies or coping mechanisms to deal with something that's happening for you at the moment. So in terms of becoming a counsellor through the EAP, there are lots of different providers that you might work with to be an EAP counsellor. But I'll just start with going through some of the process and going through some websites that I found on the internet that give you a bit more information and clear steps on how to become an EAP counsellor. So I've got my laptop open here at the moment, and I've got it open on the Indeed website. So Indeed is a job seeking website, but they also have information about different jobs and how to get those jobs. So one of the articles they've got under career development is 5 steps you can take to become an EAP counsellor. So it kind of breaks it down for you. So I won't go through all the steps in detail as they have it here, because you can obviously go and read that yourself. But in terms of the first step, it says to earn your bachelor's degree. So having a bachelor's degree is a primary educational requirement for EAP counsellors. And you have to study for and complete a 4-year degree, which will help start your career as an EAP counsellor. So it says there are no specific requirements for what you should study as an undergraduate, but it's obviously a good idea to choose a field of study that's relevant to EAP counselling. So obviously psychology or social work or sociology, because it's no point doing something completely different and then trying to become a counsellor. And then it says to enroll in a relevant master's or doctoral degree program. So generally what I've heard from being in the counselling field, to become an EAP counsellor, you generally have to have a psychology master's or a social work master's. I know a lot of people who have social work backgrounds become EAP counsellors, but I have found, and I'll go into that in a bit, but having studied the Master of Counselling and Psychotherapy, there are options to become EAP counsellors as well, and that's being registered with PACFA. They have connections to some of the different EAP providers, so we'll go into that in a bit as well. Basically, the next step according to Indeed is to obtain a pertinent clinical experience. So obviously getting experience working as a counsellor, so that you would hopefully do through your degree, through your master's degree, you would do placement. And then the 4th step, which seems to be important, which is becoming licensed in your state. So it says, depending on the state you live in, you may have to become officially licensed or certified to practice as an EAP counsellor. To become a therapist, you may need to become a licensed mental health counsellor or a licensed marriage and family therapist. So I think that might be specific to a certain state. But if you would like to take the social work route, you can become a licensed Master of Social Work or licensed clinical social worker. And then from there, you can gain additional EAP specific certifications such as the Certified Employee Assistance Professional, which is acronymed CEAP, and which is a credential offered by the Employee Assistance Professionals Association, EAPA. So we'll go into a bit more of that as well. But it basically says, to be an eligible candidate to receive such licenses, you may have to earn a certain number of clinical hours and have a relevant educational background and passed a standardized exam. And then the fifth step is to find work with an employee assistance program, and that gives you some information about that. So as I mentioned, if you study the Master of Counselling and Psychotherapy and register with PACFA, there are options to become an EAP counsellor through some of their networks as well. So I'm just on PACFA's website now. So PACFA is the Psychotherapy and Counselling Federation of Australia, and they have some information of the employee assistance program providers that they are partnered with, and counsellors who are registered with PACFA would be able to potentially get recruited by. And they have a whole list of different providers, and then they have the email contacts if you need to contact them to ask about their recruitment process. So I'll just give you a quick glimpse of what the website looks like. So this is the PACFA website, and as you can see along here, they have the different providers that you can have a look at their information and then contact them if you're looking to get recruited as an EAP counsellor. So the other website to be aware of is the International Employee Assistance Professionals Association, which is acronymed EAPA. And that has information about becoming a member with them, what education and training they offer, different certifications. So it would be recommended to look through their website and see what you think you might find useful from them. You might not have to be registered with them to be an EAP counsellor with certain providers. So I would probably have a look at the provider that you're interested in working with, or contact a few of them and ask them if you need to be a member of the EAPA, because sometimes you don't need to be a member. It might allow you to get some free training and professional development and networking. So that's why these membership or associations are really good to be connected with. But you do have to pay a yearly fee for these things. So if you're at the start of your career and you don't really want to invest too much into these things yet, first look at getting a job and what's required for that, and then you can look at kind of building your networks and your career through these associations and register with them. So just in summary, to become an EAP counsellor, first do your study, so whether that's the Bachelor of Psychology and then a Master's in Social Work or Counselling, and then go on to register with PACFA. Contact a few of the providers to see what you would require to work as an EAP counsellor. Then do the training, do the hours that you need to do, and then potentially contact EAPA or look through their website to see what you might need to be a member, and if you do need to be a member, or what the benefits of that would be. So I hope you found this video helpful. Make sure to hit the subscribe button as I mentioned earlier. Hit the thumbs up if you like this or found it helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.